Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV, and I'm joined by my old mucker Bernard Deneen from the Citizen Channel. How you doing, mate?
Oh, I'm fine, mate. I'm all happy. It's nice to go into an international break, and you've got an injury to your star player, which we're going to talk about today, and we can still pull out the maximum points. That'll do me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've taken the words out of my mouth. We're going to here to talk about our star player Kevin de Bruyne, and arguably the best attacking midfielder in the world right now. Well, not right now, but of late, the last few years, it's Kevin de Bruyne. Right now, he's on the sidelines, injured for probably 3 to 4 months. But he's been, I think, near the top of his game, with some slight ups and downs for the last six, 7 seasons. He's been awesome for City. He's pulled in some cracking numbers. You go back a few seasons, back in 2019-20, actually, it was one of his best scoring seasons. He scored 13 goals that season from 35 games. 21-22, he only played 30 league games, scored 15 goals. Fantastic returns. A bit down last season, but that was kind of made up for Erling Haaland scored all those goals. But KDB's injured right now. He's got obviously it's a bad injury that is going to keep him out for 3 or 4 months. Same kind of injury that he had in the Champions League final. Real big disappointment. He's 32 now. So I'm looking at all these things together. He's 32 years old. In this video, we're going to look at the future. Because let's be honest, I don't think he's got more than 2, possibly 3 years left. You can argue Modric is still playing at a high level for Real Madrid, and other players are in their mid to late 30s still doing it. But I think when KDB loses some of his pace, what's left is eye for a pass.
Yeah, so, his style doesn't sort of equate to sort of being able to go on and on. As you said, Modric, there's no real comparison with the style of play and the physique and the physicality of him.
Yeah. So we look here to look at the future for KDB. And you've also got to bear in mind, it was Ferran Soriano I saw, the video I saw was Ferran Soriano talking about when, I wouldn't call it over the hill, but it was a hill shape. Talking about managers, talking about players. And it's when to know when someone is on the other side of the hill, basically, when they're on the decline. And they could be right at the top of the hill, just going over, and then they could fall off a cliff. Now, what City do, they basically move people. They think they're moving people on at the right time. I don't think there's been many players that we've moved on when they're getting older, and we suddenly say, wow, that was a mistake. They had more time in them. When David Silva left, I thought he had another year or 2 that he could have performed at a high level for City. But we've seen, obviously, he's injured and retired now, but his level did drop off, partly, obviously, who he was playing for. We've seen people like Fabian Delph, when we got rid of him. He was bobbins for Everton. We've seen Zinchenko. Okay, he's young. It's slightly different with him. But I can't think of anybody, even Sterling. Sterling's gone. He'll have moments for Chelsea, but I didn't notice him last season. So, we didn't miss him, and he didn't do anything for Chelsea. So, it's when to know. So, where do you think KDB is on that hill graph, that graphic? Where do you think he is?
Well, you think about KDB last season, and season before even. So I don't think we've seen a proper 100% Kevin de Bruyne. Kevin Gill, there's a player. There's an interesting player to compare with. But I think this is good. I know it sounds stupid, but I think once he gets this right, and there's nothing else, because it's the same injury that's been troubling for quite a while now. It's not as though he's got something else, and this is something else that's come along. Because he's at the age, I think he was untouchable at moments last season. And then obviously you learned that he'd been injured as well. I mean, his physicality last season is all over the pitch. He never stopped. I mean, he went through a phase around November, December, January. He was probably, I don't know what the stats are. I don't look at the stats and what they cover as far as kilometres in a game and all this sort of thing, meters in a game. But he must have been up there because he was working so hard up and down all the time. Absolutely fantastic. And then you hear later on he's been playing with this little bit of a problem, which obviously he carried for the last certainly 2 or 3 months, I would have thought. And you thought, wow, so this, hopefully, once this sorted out, it's been like a new lease of life for him. And obviously, if he got to that hill, perhaps it's a bit of a plateau. It'll be a plateau for him now, rather than falling off it. He's gonna certainly for another season and a half. If he comes back in January this season, it should be firing, and certainly firing next season, which in theory is Pep's last, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not too sure, but obviously there's a lot. We won't go into Pep and whether he'll be staying. But I think long term. I think it's a cracking thing, and I think he's still going to keep up that level, because I think he will plateau, because this is perhaps what he needed.
Yeah.
All right, he's not swanning around playing golf and messing about while he's injured, but mind-wise, physically, he'll be so keen to get back, won't he?
Yeah.
Hopefully, if we can carry on as we are and try and dominate the league, he'll be firing to get back, and I think that's a good thing.
There's a couple of things I'm thinking about. One, obviously, what you've been saying about him being injured. Obviously, he's going to be out for a while. He's not had a rest in football terms since when? Right. We played the Champions League final on the 10th of June. 2 months later, we're playing in the league. He's not had a lot of a break. No one has. So he's been probably playing
physical and mental. I mean, there's a lot of, Kevin de Bruyne, there's so much mental thing he has to figure out as well.
So from that point of view, it's good for his body to get a rest. It'll hopefully come back recuperated, rejuvenated, and not just his body, but his mind. I think he's gagging to play football, which is only going to be a good thing. He's gagging.
I'm hoping he'll struggle to get back in the team straight away as well. I'm hoping the guys who come in like the Fodens of this world and made themselves almost undroppable.
That is going to be my next question. That honestly was my next question. Was when he comes back, if we're doing well, does he get back into the side immediately? Because Pep is now basically where we're changing the way we play. We saw in the last game, we were basically a 3-5-2. We had Alvarez and Haaland up top. We played with Foden as the number 10. We played with different players. We're doing different things. And partly, if KDB was here every time, we'd play a different system. The fact is, we're playing a non-KDB system now. I think that's what we're kind of pushing towards. 3 or 4 months down the line, if we're doing really well, if Pep's honest with himself about it, does he bring KDB straight back into the side? Or do you worry that bringing him in messes up the dynamic, messes up the what we've got going and the positivity in some players? Because someone's going to get dropped, So do you think KDB should, obviously it depends on how we're doing, do you think he should come back straight away?
It's a nice problem to have, mate, isn't it? And we know with Pep, we've got the right guy to sort it out. I don't worry whatsoever about it. I worry that we haven't got KDB. I worried about that at the start of the season. I was literally down. I was very down. I was thinking, oh God, and obviously, and you sort of, you lose faith in Pep, and then you think, why? Why did I lose faith in Pep, knowing what to do to switch things around, move things around? I mean, at the moment, he's got Akanji playing this sort of role into midfield, isn't he? It's not quite working 100%, but this is Pep doing his Pep things, and KDB coming back in. Yeah, I wouldn't. Pep won't automatically put him back. He'll have to develop a system. And as I say, hopefully it will be difficult, because hopefully people like Foden and Kovacic and all the guys, Alvarez, another one who's perhaps got a lot to prove this season. He's got a lot of work to do this season, Alvarez, to become one of those first names on the team sheet, because he certainly isn't yet. So all those guys would have stepped up in KDB's absence, in the same way Gundo used to step up when KDB wasn't around. We've probably got 2 or 3 players now who think, oh, I'm gonna have to put it in here. So this is my chance. And I'm sure KDB, all right, he won't play every game when he gets back, and he'll have to be eased in, I think. But I don't worry, because I know Pep will find a way, and he is a genius. A fit KDB, a world class KDB, he's got to get in the team. And unfortunately, someone might have to be nudged out, but that's what a squad is, isn't it? That's what it's all about. And let's face it, we won 2 big titles with KDB not on the pitch recently. So, it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter at all.
I think the last time he had a long injury few seasons back. Cancelo stepped up. Gundogan stepped up. And KDB didn't automatically come back inside. I said that's what I wanted. I remember he was out for six or 8 weeks, and I said I don't want him to immediately come back because these other guys are doing really well. And it is a bit of a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face for somebody who's, maybe for 6 weeks has been awesome. And then to say, well, KDB's back, so you're getting dropped. I think it took a couple of games before he was starting. And I think that is better than just banging him back in, not fully fit, pushing someone else's nose maybe out of joints, and not getting the best out of KDB. So I think I agree with what you're saying. Come back slowly. Take 2 or 3 games to get back into it. Show that you can still do it. Because, hey, we don't know. If you're out for 4 months, can you still do it? Has he lost it?
I mean, he's a unique talent, isn't he? You can't, in the same way you can't compare Kovacic to Gundo. Totally different style, totally different players. KDB is quite a unique asset. He's just not really anybody. He's KDB, isn't he? You can't say he's such and such a person. He's just his own player.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing to be, because that means other players can be themselves as well. They don't have to be KDB. No one's asking anyone to be KDB. No one's asking anyone to be Gundogan particularly. They might play a similar role, but they're not, Pep's not saying, right, you play this role that Gundo used to play. He's using Kovacic's, skills and various things. It's the same with KDB. Whoever comes in for him, they've got their own talents as well. It'll be totally different. And it's an extra man to the squad at the time when we will need him. January onwards is always going to be the busy time. If we're successful, as hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be again. Yeah. And it'll be firing, and to have a fully fit squad and allowing for injuries. There's always going to be injuries. Always someone's going to get injured anyway. It's not going to be this squad now from now till May or June next season. Let's face it. So KDB will be coming in and finding a place anyway, because someone else will unfortunately. Hopefully not long term, but pick up an injury. So that's how it is.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think KDB coming back will be like everybody will be over the blue moon to have KDB back, to have a player of that quality, that talent, that vision.
And you new players who haven't played with him as well. I mean, they'd be chomping at the bit. And your old players like Haaland, I mean, we know what sort of link up they had together. I mean, you'd just be welcome back with open arms.
Everybody's going to love having him back. So, lot to look forward to. He's going to be out for, as we say, another 3 months probably. But it's not the end for KDB. When hopefully after this injury, he's got a new lease of life. And
he'll be praying for these guys to keep us up there, competing in every competition.
People telling him
that's what he wants. He doesn't want. I remember, like you said, I think whether it's on this vlog or another one, where I was on the subs bench watching a match, say a Sunday league match or at school. I was hoping someone was rubbish so I could get on the pitch. It doesn't work like that with our professional squad. All these guys. Of course they want KDB to do well, and KDB will want them to do well. He'll want Foden to fill in for his role and do it superbly, because that's what they are. The professionals, and they're a good unit at the moment, a good unit of lads.
Yeah, no, it just reminds me of a story. I'll just quickly mention it. Playing cricket as a kid, and I was wicketkeeper. I wasn't brilliant, but I was okay. We were rubbish at our team. Our schools at sports was pathetic. And I remember getting dropped for another guy as wicketkeeper, and who just wasn't as good as me. Now, I'm rubbish, but he was even worse. And all I did was I spent the match I was fielding watching and counting how many times he let the ball go and how many runs he give away, and then comparing that to myself. But it's natural. But I think everybody wants the best for KDB. There's hopefully nobody that says, I hope he doesn't come back, or I hope he's rubbish, or whatever, because I want to keep my position.
He's our captain, isn't he? He's our captain. We want our captain back.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for that, Bernard. Hopefully that's a good insight to what we think about KDB and the future. Hopefully he's got many, many more years at the top level left at City. And guys, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified as soon as new videos go out. And we'll see you around Blues.